From criticizing him over the COVID vaccine to saying he does things that are beneath him, Kareem has a lot of reasons for hating LeBron James. One of the top reasons being James's views. It's obvious that not everyone is going to have the same views as you, and having a difference in beliefs and views is okay. Everyone has the right to have an opinion. But then again, opinions are about ice cream flavors and not about life-threatening situations. Kareem criticized James for his views regarding the COVID-19 vaccine. You see, in September last year, James said that he was skeptical about the COVID vaccine and that he wouldn't be an advocate for it before he got vaccinated. His stance on the vaccine didn't really change after he got vaccinated either, because in December 2021, James posted a meme on his Instagram story about the vaccine. The meme compared COVID-19 to the flu and the vaccine to a flu shot. Now, in times when people are already very skeptical about the vaccine, despite its ability to save millions of lives, this statement from someone like James, a person with so much influence and privilege, didn't sit right with Kareem, and he spoke up against it. Here's what Kareem said. He called his stance on the vaccine plain wrong and said that this whole instance would be a blow to the legacy that he has spent so many years building. Kareem admitted that James has a very necessary and dynamic voice when it comes to police brutality against the black community and the whole Black Lives Matter movement, but he should also have the same voice and enthusiasm about this vaccine, given its ability to save countless black lives. And everyone agreed with him. In the time of a pandemic, when there's so much ignorance about a life-saving vaccine, the last thing we need is a person with so much influence adding more doubt to the conversation the way James did. According to Kareem, the NBA superstar should be an advocate for the vaccine, rather than speaking up against it the way that he did. As soon as James found out about what Kareem had said about his stance, he came forward with a statement of his own, explaining himself. Here's what the NBA star said. Now that James was facing intense criticism from not only the people, but also from legends like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he decided it was time to explain why he actually posted that meme on his story in the first place. Although he declined to give an answer directly addressed to Kareem, he did talk about the whole situation. LeBron said that it was flu season, and people have forgotten that it's flu season. They've forgotten about common colds. His point was that a lot of people were confusing the common cold with COVID because they both have similar symptoms. He said that it happens a lot with younger people and children. James then brought up his daughter, who was in the first grade at the time. He said that all these kids were just getting the common cold or flu, and people were just too paranoid with the whole COVID situation going on. Honestly, this explanation didn't really make sense, because people should be paranoid at such a time. It's a time when everyone should be on high alert, given the severity of the situation at hand. And it didn't explain the way he was indirectly adding to the anti-vaxxer debate. When asked if he had anything to say about what Kareem had said, he simply said no. This made it pretty obvious that their lifelong alleged feud was still alive and thriving. The drama was put to rest after a while, but Kareem has other reasons to hate on the Lakers star. Another reason we think Kareem doesn't really like James is because he thinks James is disrespectful and extra. It's common for athletes to celebrate their wins on the court, but this celebration should not be disrespectful to the other team. It's wrong to disrespect another team just because you won, everyone agrees. Well, you guys remember when James had an overtime win in a game against the Pacers, right? Remember how he decided to celebrate his late game 3 wins by doing a little dance? Well, that's all good, except that dance was him mimicking the dance that NBA star Sam Cassell made famous. And I don't know if you know this, but that dance is pretty disrespectful. I mean, it looks just so unprofessional and childish, and quite frankly, it's inappropriate to point out your bottom as part of a dance. Well, Kareem thought it was unnecessary and disrespectful, and spoke up against it. In a video posted on Substack, which is a subscription commentary website, the American talked about how wrong it was for James to do that dance. Kareem said that winning a game is enough. Doing all this extra stuff is just unnecessary. He said that the dance was stupid, childish, and added that it looked like James intended to disrespect the other team on the court. The NBA legend said that it didn't make any sense for James to do what he did, and it was wrong. But why does Kareem criticize James so much? He could just choose to ignore all that the NBA star does and move on with his life, right? Well, here's why Kareem Abdul-Jabbar criticizes LeBron James so much. Okay, I want you to notice a common theme with all the times that Kareem has criticized James. You see, that Kareem never gives James destructive criticism. It's always him pointing out things that James did wrong. It's never just pointless hating. So saying that Kareem just hates James would be wrong, especially when James hasn't even personally done anything to Kareem. So why the criticism? Well, Kareem answered that for us. He said that the only reason he criticized James so much is because he has higher expectations of him. The legend added that he always tries to give the player advice like a brother, and he never means to hurt him or be destructive. He always means to do good because he knows that James is a good person and he has the potential to do better. He added that all the things he has said about LeBron in the past came from a place of love, like an older brother would give his brother advice, whether wanted or unwanted, because he wants him to do better, and he hopes that James is mature and gracious enough to understand that Kareem only wants the best for him and doesn't want any beef. He even admitted and applauded some of the things that James has done, like sending a whole batch of school kids to college and his charity work. So he sees the good in the player. The only thing is, he sees more potential. The only question left now is, where do the two stand? Are they friends? Nope. Are they enemies? Also no. The two don't really talk to each other that often, except for their statements on social media. They don't have much communication. We know that Kareem said that he'd be willing to sit down with James and have a conversation about everything to mend their relationship if it's bad, but we don't know where James stands on that. Kareem said that he has admired and loved James for years, and that hasn't changed one bit in the recent few years, so if James would be willing to sit down and talk, he'd be more than happy to have that conversation with the NBA star. And that was all about why Kareem Abdul-Jabbar hates LeBron James.